That's Rob from Property Investments UK, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the benefits of serviced accommodation other than just the high rental yields and income that you can generate. So very often serviced accommodation is marketed and looked at as a fantastic rental strategy because it can give you higher rental yields, but there's lots of other benefits that come along with serviced accommodation that some people just aren't necessarily aware of, they've not kind of heard of or seen before. So I wanted to kind of touch on those effectively in this video. So obviously you guys, Paul, have run a lot of serviced accommodation, different areas and stuff. What do you tend to find are the main kind of benefits? Why are the reasons, I guess, that you guys got into serviced previously, but also what is it you see that kind of helps clients the most when it comes to serviced accommodation?
The ease.
Yeah.
The ease, and obviously without touching on the income, it's the little things that people don't think about. It's the fact that you are taking all the risk of any normal AST out of it in terms of how your apartment is left, people not paying your rent, etc. And then your exit strategy is when you come to sell your apartment. So basically it's cost effective for everyone because we will do a weekly clean and a weekly report. We can maintain the apartment on a weekly basis, and we can instruct you that anything needs wear and tear, etc. So your apartment is kept in better condition, you know, and that's obviously not for all tenants. Some tenants treat the places like the home, and it's perfect. But you know, there are risks involved with a normal AST.
Yeah, and I think you have, when it comes to normal kind of tenants, you don't necessarily have the availability to go into those properties, or you don't need to sometimes, but you're not able to go into those properties on a short basis every couple of months. So you might only see it once every 6 months. That might be too late to replace some of those items, to realise there's been a leak in the ceiling and they never told you about it.
Yeah, or that damps occurred or whatever it may be, which ultimately will always come out of the owner's pocket. The cost will come out of the owner's pocket, which comes out of their profit. So we can monitor that and stand on that very quickly. But I also think it comes to, you know, what we've found is with people who've been on the model, certainly in Chester where we've been running it the longest, they have no real desire to sell because the returns are so good. But if you do sell, you are then selling your apartment probably very quickly because it's in a spick-spat condition and ready to sell. You know, you're not going in and saying, right, I've got to give it a refurb, etc. And because we're dealing with apartments and service charges, the outside is always maintained, the communal area is always maintained. So I think it just gives a lot of advantages on that front, knowing that your apartment is always in a great condition, because I'm sure that must be a concern, you know, for a lot of owners of, you know, privately managed.
We've got our portfolio that we kind of, when we originally kind of started, it was like terrace houses, semi-detached houses, mainstream buy-to-let tenants, and then we've gone into different things as we've kind of grown it from there. But even when we've got properties that have taken a bit of a hammering because of the tenant profile, or it's maybe been a bit more of a transient tenant, they turned over quicker, and it needs some maintenance work doing to it, or they've done damage, that there's a deposit there, maybe that can kind of cover it, but it doesn't always cover the full damage. And there are tenants there that don't kind of leave the property, don't pay rent, don't pay kind of to keep the property looked after, or you don't go into it for a couple of months, you said you see damp and you see a leak that they never told you about. And I think definitely from our side of things, when we've had the serviced kind of properties that we've got now in our portfolio, the difference is that the people that are living in it, although they're not necessarily treating it as their home because they're going to be there for the next 7 years, what they do is it's a very high-end type tenant profile for a start, so they're used to looking after their properties. They're aware that people are going to go into the property on a regular basis, like cleaners, so they don't tend to leave it in the same kind of condition. And also you
clean
have
before the cleaners.
You have somebody on hand that can kind of give you feedback directly. So if something's wrong, you can jump on it straight away.
And we've also got a point where we can go back to as well, because even though we don't deal directly with the companies that supply them, we know who the companies are who supply them. So if we've got any problems, if we've got tenants in here, you know, there's a recourse. You know, we can say, right, okay, we're having a problem here. And it's highly unlikely because they obviously then become the wrath of the company they're working for.
No one's going to go back to the manager and say, like, oh, the party's there, and all these problems, because it's going to come back to the company, it looks bad on them.
So the idea is how this looks now, how this apartment looks now, it's in 10 years how this apartment will look now. So if for any reason you do want to move on, sell, release equity, your circumstances have changed, you've got something that you can almost immediately market.
So obviously rental income's great, but then there are other benefits like the maintenance or ongoing kind of management of the property is pretty good. Anything else you think of that's kind of in terms of extra benefits and stuff with serviced?
No, I just think it's an overall potentially a better
That's
clientele.
a good model. I think
yeah.
from our end, what some of the benefits that we've seen is it forces you to buy in the right locations. So
Yeah.
where we've had properties before, where we've done all the research on it, and everything looks great, and we've kind of found a property and it's like, we can buy this for this price, but then something else kind of catches your eye and think, oh, that's a bit cheaper, and it's only a quarter of a mile away, so let's go for that one. And you kind of buy something that's maybe not in the right part of town, or maybe not the right kind of tenant profile.
Yeah,
because service has to be spot on for the location.
Yeah, if you know, there could be something that's a mile away from here that is £20,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's going to be better for you in the long run.
Yeah.
You know, that £20,000 being lost in a heartbeat, you know, on the returns that you'll get that will be made up, but also on your resale as well. You're buying in a very good location. And that, I think that goes back to the original point. As a standalone investment, it is a good investment.
Yeah.
It's just got the added incentive that you can get higher yields.
Yeah.
You know, because I think everyone always associates high yields with students.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to incorporate, or what we have incorporated, is that you get a high quality buy to let, getting up somewhere towards student yields where you can also finance it, because obviously generally that's always a cash buy.
So you get yields that are good, you get kind of good exit strategies. And I think when we're looking at properties, we brought in a model a number of years ago now, but we have like a bit of an ABC plan with that property or strategy. So yes, the ultimate aim might be to keep it and add to your portfolio, but if situations change, are you able to sell it? Do you have a market in place that's maybe not just investors but also homeowners? Would they want to kind of live there? And I think that's important with any kind of property investment to look at, and to make sure you've got exit kind of plans and stuff in place. And service allows you to kind of
and from a company point of view as well, because we're on this model and because we deal with investors from time to time, you've also got, you know, the options of selling it to the residential market because it's a normal buy to let, but you've also got an investor database that will be quite happy to move it on for you, because sometimes if you can market a property and say, right, okay, this is X property, it's had on average an 8.5% return for the last 6 years, believe it or not, that becomes very attractive to an investor.
So
you've also got your exit on that side by going through a company that is multifaceted in what it can do.
It gives you options. Perfect. So the obviously we know the benefits of service in terms of yield and income and stuff, but I think there's other tangible benefits that people sometimes forget that service can kind of provide them. And there are obviously mainstream, straightforward vanilla buy-to-lets that can work great. There's HMOs that can work great. There's other types of rental strategies, and I think service is just another thing to consider that can maybe give you slightly better returns in your portfolio, diversify your portfolio a little bit better, and also give you some locations as well that are going to be great in terms of the long-term resale aspects, growth aspects. I think can work really well.
Absolutely.
So hopefully that just kind of gives you some context to why service really can kind of add some value to your potential portfolio. Hopefully that kind of helps. Hopefully that kind of mini series of videos that we've done on service accommodation gives you kind of a good roundup. Any questions or anything, please feel free to ask. Always happy to help. And just want to say thanks very much for Paul from Residential Estates for his help with the videos, and hopefully giving you some sound advice in terms of how the service model can work. All the best. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this content and you'd like to join our free online property training course, we've got a link for it on this page, and in there we cover a range of different property strategies to help you get started either building a long-term property portfolio or creating a cash-flowing property business. We also look at ways to increase your return on investment with any of the property you may be considering, and we also have a couple of cheat sheets and downloadable documents in there as well. Simply click on the link to join the free training course today.